Harry Potter, A Magical Year. A spellbinding moment for every day from J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter novels. The illustrations of Jim K. Bloomsbury. So I'm gonna try and read one of these every single day of 2025. And today we're starting with just having a look at the beginning. A magical year. For all those who have doubts and depression, you are not alone. Jim K. January. Hey, January. All in all, they were glad when the rest of the school returned shortly after New Year, and Gryffindor Tower became crowded and noisy again. The 1st of January. Promise me you'll look after yourself. Stay out of trouble. I always do, Mrs. Weasley, said Harry. I like a quiet life, you know me. Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, Chapter 17, A Sluggish Memory. The 2nd of January. Chairs slid backwards again as the night bus jumped from the Birmingham motorway to a quiet country lane full of hairpin bends. Hedgerows on either side of the road were leaping out of their way as they mounted the verges. From here they moved to a main street in the middle of a busy town, then to a viaduct surrounded by tall hills, then to a windswept road between high-rise flats, each time with a loud bang. I've changed my mind, muttered Ron, picking himself up from the floor for the 6th time. I never want to write this thing again. Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, Chapter 24, Clemency. The 3rd of January. The 6 of them struggled up the slippery drive towards the castle, dragging their trunks. Hermione was already talking about knitting a few elf hats before bedtime. Harry glanced back. When they reached the oaken front doors, the night bus had already gone. Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, Chapter 24, Clemency. The 4th of January. Harry glanced out of the corridor windows as they passed. The sun was already sinking over the grounds, carpeted in deeper snow than had lain over the Barrow Garden. In the distance, he could see Hagrid feeding Buckbeak in front of his cabin. Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, Chapter 17, A Sluggish Memory. The 5th of January. Oh, hang on. Password. Abstinence. Precisely, said the fat lady in a feeble voice and swung forward to reveal the portrait hole. What's up with her? Asked Harry. Overindulged over Christmas, apparently, said Hermione, rolling her eyes as she led the way into the packed common room. Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, Chapter 17, A Sluggish Memory. The 6th of January. But at that moment there was a loud squeal of 1-1, and Lavender Brown came hurtling out of nowhere and flung herself into Ron's arms. Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, Chapter 17, A Sluggish Memory. The 7th of January. At that moment, Neville toppled into the common room. How he had managed to climb through the portrait hole was anyone's guess, because his legs had been stuck together with what they recognized at once as the leg locker curse. Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, Chapter 13, Nicholas Flamel. The 8th of January. You take remedial potions, as Zachariah Smith, superciliously, having cornered Harry in the entrance hall after lunch. Good Lord, you must be terrible. Snape doesn't usually give extra lessons, does he? Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, Chapter 24, Occlumency. The 9th of January, Professor Snape's birthday. As there is little foolish wand-waving here, many of you will hardly believe this is magic. I don't expect you will really understand the beauty of the softly simmering cauldron with its shimmering fumes, the delicate power of liquids that creep through human veins, bewitching the mind, ensnaring the senses. I can teach you how to bottle fame, brew glory, even stopper death. If you aren't as big a bunch of dunderheads as I usually have to teach. Severus Snape. Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, Chapter 8, The Potions Master. The 10th of January. Detention, Saturday night, my office, said Snape. I do not take cheek from anyone, Potter, not even the chosen one. Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, Chapter 9, The Half-Blood Prince. The 11th of January. Professor Sprout and the Prophet propped against a bottle of ketchup and was reading the front page with such concentration that she was not noticing the gentle drip of egg yolk falling into her lap from her stationery spoon. Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, Chapter 25, The Beetle at Bay. The 12th of January. It was Professor Trelawney gliding towards them as though on wheels. She had put on a green sequin dress in honor of the occasion, making her look more than ever like a glittering, oversized dragonfly. Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, Chapter 11, The Firebolt. The 13th of January. The last thing anyone felt like doing was spending 2 hours in the grounds on a raw January morning, but Hagrid had provided a bonfire full of salamanders for their enjoyment, and they spent an unusually good lesson collecting dry wood and leaves to keep the fire blazing, while the flame-loving lizards scampered up and down the crumbling white-hot logs. Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, Chapter 12, The Patronus. The 14th of January. Well, write it in your homework planner then, said Hermione encouragingly, so you don't forget. Harry and Ron exchanged looks as he reached into his bag, withdrew the planner and opened it tentatively. Don't leave it till later. You big second reader, chided the book. Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, Chapter 24, Occlumency. The 15th of January. Hermione, who was sweaty-faced and had soot on her nose, looked livid. Her half-finished antidote, comprising 52 ingredients, including a chunk of her own hair, bubbled sluggishly behind Slughorn, who had eyes for nobody but Harry. Harry Potter and the Half-Blood had meant well, but that didn't stop him being angry with her. He had been the owner of the best broom in the world for a few short hours, and now, because of her interference, he didn't know whether he would ever see it again. Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, Chapter 12, The Patronus. The 17th of January. Oh, Harry, how often this happens, even between the best of friends. Each of us believes that what he has to say is much more important than anything the other might have to contribute. Albus Dumbledore. Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, Chapter 17, A Sluggish Memory. The 18th of January. Snow was still thick upon the grounds, and the greenhouse windows were covered in condensation so thick that they couldn't see out of them in herbology. Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, Chapter 24, Rita Skeeter's Scoop. The 19th of January. Headless hats, shouted George, as Fred waved a pointed hat decorated with a fluffy pink feather at the watching students. 2 galleons each watch Fred now. Fred swept the hat onto his head, beaming. For a second he merely looked rather stupid. Then both hat and head vanished. Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, Chapter 24, Occlumency. The 20th of January. What does a Patronus look like? Said Harry curiously. Each one is unique to the wizard who conjures it. Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, Chapter 12, The Patronus. The 21st of January. So many students filed past the hospital wing, trying to catch a glimpse of her, that Madame Pomfrey took out her curtains again and placed them around Hermione's bed to spare her the shame of being seen with a furry face. Harry and Ron went to visit her every evening. When the new term started, they brought her each day's homework. If I'd sprouted whiskers, I'd take a break from work, said Ron, tipping a stack of books onto Hermione's bedside table one evening. Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, Chapter 13, The Very Secret Diary. The 22nd of January. As they passed the Durmstrang ship moored in the lake, they saw Victor Crumb emerge onto the deck, dressed in nothing but swimming trunks. He was very skinny, but apparently a lot tougher than he looked, because he climbed up onto the side of the ship, stretched out his arms, and dived right into the lake. Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, Chapter 24, Rita Skeeter's Scoop. The 23rd of January. Harry took a great breath and slid under the surface, and now, sitting on the marble bottom of the bubble-filled bath, he heard a chorus of eerie voices singing to him from the open egg in his hands. Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, Chapter 25, The Egg and the Eye. The 24th of January. Myrtle puffed herself up and shrieked, "Let's all throw books at Myrtle, because she can't feel it. 10 points if you get it through her stomach, 50 points if it goes through her head. Well, ha ha ha, what a lovely game, I don't think." Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, Chapter 13, The Very Secret Diary. The 25th of January. Wood was working the team harder than ever. Even the endless rain that had replaced the snow couldn't dampen his spirits. The Weasleys complained that Wood was becoming a fanatic, but Harry was on Wood's side. If they won their next match against Hufflepuff, they would overtake Slytherin in the House Championship for the first time in 7 years. Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, Chapter 13, Nicholas Flamel. The 26th of January, Professor Lockhart's birthday. Come on now, round them up, they're only pixies, Lockhart shouted. He rolled up his sleeves, brandished his wand, and bellowed, Piscipixie, Pesternomi. It had absolutely no effect. One of the pixies seized Lockhart's wand and threw it out of the window too. Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, Chapter 6, Gilderoy Lockhart. The 27th of January. You'd be surprised, said Ron, who was looking apprehensively at the book. Some of the books the ministries confiscated, Dad's told me. There was one that burned your eyes out, and everyone who reads Sonnets of a Sorcerer spoke in limericks for the rest of their lives. And some old witch in Bath had a book that you could never stop reading. Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, Chapter 13, The Very Secret Diary. The 28th of January. The truth, Dumbledore sighed, is a beautiful and terrible thing, and should therefore be treated with great caution. However, I shall answer your questions unless I have a very good reason not to, in which case I beg you'll forgive me. I shall not, of course, lie. Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, Chapter 17, The Man with Two Faces. The 29th of January. You think the dead we have loved ever truly leave us? You think that we don't recall them more clearly than ever in times of great trouble? Albus Dumbledore. Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, Chapter 22, Owl Post again. The 30th of January, Lily Potter's birthday. Your mother died to save you. If there's one thing Voldemort cannot understand, it is love. He didn't realize that love as powerful as your mother's, for you, leaves its own mark, not a scar, no visible sign. To have been loved so deeply, even though the person who loved us is gone, will give us some protection forever. It is in your very skin. Albus Dumbledore. Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, Chapter 17, The Man with Two Faces. The 31st of January. The lamps in Dumbledore's office were lit. The portraits of previous headmasters were snoring gently in their frames, and the pensive was ready upon the desk once more. Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, Chapter 17, A Sluggish